All right, Cougs, here's the deal. In business, it's important to understand what your secret sauce is. And my guests today understand that concept on a very deep level. We'll get into that in just a minute. What started in the kitchen made its way through the WSU business plan competition and is now a father-son business with products available online, at markets, and in select stores. Drew and Brighton, welcome to the Cougs First podcast.
Awesome. Thank you for having us. That was an awesome intro. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just so excited. So you have a business built on sauce, obviously, but I want to take it all the way back to the inception of this. I want to hear about how it came to be, bring me up to speed on the name, all the things. So for those that don't know, who haven't had your awesome product, who haven't met you guys, tell us a little bit more about the history.
So I'll start with that because I was in the restaurant business 30 years ago and I was opening restaurants all over the United States. And I wanted a sauce that was versatile enough to use on multiple menu items. And so I came up with this about 30 years ago. Got out of the industry, but continued making that sauce for friends and family and to this day. And we finally got it bottled about 2 years ago, but you take over from there.
Yeah. So, basically growing up, like you were saying, we would have the sauce at like special occasions, like family gatherings. Everyone would always love it. And then fast forward to me attending Wazoo, and I decided to be an entrepreneurship major. And my junior year, we had to do the business plan competition. And I remember calling home, and this was all over Zoom. So I remember calling home and being like, just talking about my day, just classes and stuff like that, and just talking about the business plan and not knowing exactly what I wanted to do or if I want to have my own team or join one. And we started talking about, Unkle Drew'z Sauces being the business idea, and then pretty much ran with that, had my dad on my team and my roommate at the time were my teammates for the team or for the competition. And we ended up winning and then using the winnings to ultimately start the business. And that's pretty much where we are today.
You guys, I've been waiting for this conversation for so long. If you didn't know, I'm entrepreneurship from WSU. I actually did the business plan competition, and I was just sharing with both of them before recording that we got second place. We didn't get first place, but we got some funding that launched into me having a consulting job fresh out of school. That business plan competition totally changed my life. And I don't know that a lot of Cougs know the realities of what works with it, what could be better, what it really takes to actually incubate and start a business through the university and the realities of that. So I'm excited to have this dynamic duo today. I want to bring in the WSU side. So we got how the sauce came to be. By the way, the name is Unkle Drew'z. Yes, they're father's son, but he is Unkle Drew. So could you share more about what Unkle Drew really means and why that's the name?
So again, growing up in this area, friends and family, very close-knit group, Hawaiians, Filipinos, the gambit. Everybody was auntie and uncle. And so I've been Unkle Drew for years. And we thought it was kind of a cool name for the sauce company.
Yeah.
So we also spell it differently. It's Unkle, and the K stands for Kirkland because that's where we're from. Yeah.
He knows the basketball player Kyrie Irving he has a movie and series called Unkle Drew, so that we wanted to make it a little bit different.
We didn't want anything.
It was an SEO choice as well. I love it.
Yeah.
So yes, that's to clarify the name. That's the name. That's how it came to be. And I mean, this is why it's so wild. I'm half Japanese. I have tons of aunties, uncles, but lots of cousins. So that whole concept of like family, you just embrace them. They're just a part of you, and you're not necessarily blood related, but you're Coug related. I think that's also very much a Coug thing. I think it makes a lot of sense, and it makes it like your brand's very likable. Like if you watch their content online, it feels like you're hanging out in the kitchen because it just has that vibe, and I think that's so cool and smart. I think it's very smart too. So, and I want to know, what is the connection to WSU? How did you decide to go to WSU, and how did you decide on that major?
So going to WAS, I honestly didn't know exactly what I wanted to do after high school. I wanted to stay in state, and Wazoo basically was a place where, because we're based in Kirkland, and I wanted to be close enough to home where I wasn't like not leaving, but like still like close where I can visit for the holidays and feel like I can come home if I need to. So that's kind of where that came from. And then we did have, on his side of the family, we do have a history of like my grandparents all went to Wazoo, cousins, And then,
Yeah, just the whole litany of family members all graduated from Wazoo. My dad and his two brothers won the Alumni Achievement Award probably 10 years ago, all three of them at the same time, which was a first. My grandmother started the School of Food and Nutrition at Wazoo, which is really cool. There's actually a bench there right in front of the building with her name, H. Delight Maughan, on it. And so it really has come full circle for him to go through and be part of the food and nutrition at the school that his great grandmother started.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, let's talk business plan competition. I didn't realize till we're recording. I didn't math it very well, but you obviously did that during COVID time, so I'm sure some of that was different. But for those that don't know, can you explain what the competition is and realistically what it's like prepping for it and then actually executing on it?
okay. So basically the business plan competition is part, for me, I was entrepreneurship major. I know there were other business majors that had to take this entrepreneurship class as well. But basically the whole premise of the class was to either make a business and or like what we did, make like your actual business and pursue it after. But it was basically you make a business and you plan out like all the finances, all the goals, like what problem your business is solving. There's a lot that goes into it. And then basically you have to prep like some type of presentation. I did over PowerPoint of what your business is, and then you present to like a Shark Tank kind of style to judges that Wazoo. I forgot exactly how they select the judges, but they're all like very qualified judges, and they basically listen to the presentations and then they determine the winner. And the winner is fifth. The like how we're able to like fund our business, it was a $15,000 grand prize. So that like went a long way.
He also won the best written business plan for an additional 2,500.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it allowed us, especially with COVID going on, it allowed us to fund this thing and get it rolling, get FDA approval, get a co-packer, do all the things we needed to do to get it off the ground.
Yeah, I think people don't realize how much of a catalyst something like that could be because it's kind of like you're forced to focus on it. So why not go for it?
Mhm. I think that was a huge part of it too, was like working with my roommate and then my dad were my teammates, and it's something we were passionate about. So like working on it wasn't necessarily like homework or like something I had to do. It's just like my free time. It just added up like all semester, basically working on one project and just like getting feedback from and practicing presenting for different people and just getting better and better. Just I don't know. It's really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. For those listening, it's a cool class. And at least when I was there, we had some engineers in there. So I know other majors were able to get in. I don't know if that's the case anymore. But if anyone's listening and currently at WSU, if you can somehow get into a entrepreneurship class, I think everyone benefits from that skill set.
Definitely. I agree. Yeah.
So I want to talk about, here's the real talk, people. The business plan competition's great. A lot of people go into it and they're like, yeah, I'm going to continue this business. But then sometimes reality sets in and that's changes, goals change, opportunities come up, but you're still in it. So what about the realities of running Unkle Drew'z changed for you or stayed consistent for you to keep you wanting to grow the business? Because not everyone chooses to do that.
Well, I would say the biggest thing after, because that was another thing too. We were like, we won this competition. What we want to do with the money, we knew we wanted to make the batches. We wanted to try and pursue it, go as far as we can with it. But the biggest, we basically just decided as a family, we're like, this is something not everyone gets to experience, working with your family, like working with people you love, working on like something you love that you're passionate about. Like, why not go for this, do it as long as you possibly can? And just like, I didn't want to regret, like look back and be like, I could have gone for it or like I should have. I just thought, why not go for it? And just working with your family again, huge part of it.
Yeah, and when we won the competition, it was based on one sauce, this original ginger sauce. And since then, very quickly expanded to two other sauces. So we have three at the time. We also have recipes. I have recipes for multiple more to add to the product line. So it's going to be a continuous growth. And it's done really well. But in order to make enough money in the long run to make this a full blown, all out career, it takes time. So,
What do you feel like, this is not to rag on WSU, but what do you feel like prepared you for running the business? And what are some things you've learned now that you're actually fully in it?
I think honestly, the business plan competition, because you basically have to, it's like a real, like, you have to plan everything that goes into running a business, and even after, like financial projections or just like continuing your traction and stuff like that.
Well, I think on the academic side, they try to prepare you for the realities of running a business the best they can. But a lot of it's kind of like a simulation to a point. And then,
absolutely.
Yeah, I remember now. That was one thing. It was just weird kind of to us. And I thought it honestly gave us an advantage that we were pursuing it outside
yeah,
of the
I felt the same.
competition.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't know, even during class ideas, like it's not necessarily like pushed on you to like, this is like, you can make this a reality. Like this could be your career, this could be your job, like something you're passionate about. Like it's more so almost seems like a class assignment at first, or like something to kind of like just get by and do it and like pair up with maybe people you don't necessarily want to work with, or that's kind of like what I thought. But also I think it was different doing it through Zoom, because all of my class, all of my classmates I didn't like know. Even my teacher Marie Mays, I didn't meet till a whole year later. Even her helping me like throughout the entire competition, I never met her in person till the next year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting point. So for the competition, you don't have to build a full business. Ours was a real one too. We were going for grant funding. So there was a lot of motivation to figure this out because we literally were trying to make money outside of just also trying to win a competition. So I agree. I think part of it is like if you're selling a real thing and you have skin in the game, you kind of have to find a way to make it work versus just the idea of making it work.
Well, and Brighton jumped in with both feet and got incredible traction throughout the whole process.
Yeah.
And I think that truly was the catalyst to winning because we had so much traction. We had FDA approval already. We had co-packer set up, all these different things, which you could tell it was coming to fruition, the business.
Yeah.
So I think that helped a lot.
So Drew, before Brighton went to school, is this something that you'd always kind of hoped would turn into a thing, or was it him going to WSU that kind of motivated it to turn into a business?
100%. I mean, through the years, you always say, "Oh, I created this product. It would be nice to sell it," but never really went past that thought.
Yeah.
When he called, his junior year and said, "Hey, what should I do?" I'm like, you know what? We've been talking for years about bottling the sauce. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And he was like, I mean, I could just tell how excited he was. He's like, "Can we really do that?" I'm like,
That's cool.
"Yeah, why not?" And that's where it all. That's how it started. So it was Wazoo 100%.
Thank you, Wazoo. Full disclosure,
Yeah.
I've had the sauce. I've already used up a whole bottle. I'm halfway through the second. I have a hard time imagining you winning a business competition where they couldn't smell and also taste and have like the actual full experience that you're facilitating with it too. Like what a missed opportunity.
That was the funniest part about it. They're like even telling other people about it. They're like, oh, the judges didn't even like try the sauce or anything. Like
So it all worked out anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So the realities of today, what did it take to get to a place where this became a thing? Was it a social media strategy? Obviously, lining up some of the co-packing stuff. And for those that don't know what that means, it's just the ability to make the product, in larger numbers. What are the specific action steps you guys took to gain some momentum with this?
I would say the biggest thing was getting our co-packer, and honestly, just talking to other like businesses that are also make sauce, and our co-packer connected us with a bunch of people that can just like connected us with stores, with help, connected us with a person that can help us make labels, connected us with someone graphic artists to help make our label. Because at first we changed our label to more of like a caricature of Unkle Drew, instead of like our original business plan design was just something we kind of threw together and like thought it looked good, but we changed it from there. And then I would say just from there, getting like your business license, the EIN, everything like that.
Yeah. One of the things that happened because he was put in this class his junior year, and it's usually a senior year class. When he went back, so he went back to school for a whole other year. And so over the summer, we were able to work on some stuff, but then he was back in school. We got in some stores. And then, so we were kind of waiting for him to get out of school to graduate before we hit this thing, running. And that's kind of what happened. We were able to get in some stores, but then again, we expanded our product line, and then we had the opportunity to become prime product on Amazon. And that really has catapulted our sales and everything, along with farmers markets and doing those things locally. Amazon is kind of crazy. So that was huge.
What percentage of sales? I mean, I know this is just ambushing you on the spot, but if you were to guess, what percentage of sales come from Amazon?
I would say probably close to half.
Wow.
Or a little bit more than half. Right now, our biggest thing that we ran into that we realized from the competition was our plan was to have like 80 to 90% of our sales be from wholesale, like being in stores and stuff like that. And we realized very quickly that it's not something like someone doesn't go to the grocery store and necessarily pick out a ginger sauce, or like if they don't know what it is, they might not like try a new sauce, or like want a product that they don't know what it even tastes like, or like people are just unfamiliar with that in general. So we had to back up a little bit on the wholesale. So we wanted to just grow more direct to consumer, and then keeping up on like our social media, like just grow our brand more so people like know what a ginger sauce is, or like recognize our faces and stuff like that, like brand recognition a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what a great example of here's what you think you need based off the lens of business plan competition land and coming up with plans. And then here's what's actually happening in the realities of running the business, and how sometimes that changes and evolves. We have assumptions, but then, the market, our customers tell us what we're getting right and maybe what we need to improve on.
Yeah. The realization is if to get people to try it is huge, because most people don't know what a ginger sauce, and all three of the sauces that we have are ginger sauces at this point. We're going to expand beyond that. We have like I said, we have the recipes for those, making people understand what a ginger sauce tastes like or supposed to taste like. They got to try it because you can't explain it. And when we're doing the markets and things, it's the reactions that we get is kind of crazy. I mean, people just like, are you kidding me? This is the best thing I've ever tasted, but unless we were at the market, they would have never tried. So
I think that's awesome. I'm just curious, how do you decide who focuses and works on what? What's the split in the tasks and expectations between the two of you?
I would say we definitely collaborate a lot together. Like I would say it's more part-time for him a bit. So I would say I'm more in charge of like all our to-dos and stuff like that. Like I'm in charge of planning everything, and then like if I need help with certain things, then going to like my dad, or even my mom and my sister also like help out a lot too with like finances and stuff like that, especially like social media and stuff like that too as well. Like we get a lot of like recommendations from my sister. It's definitely a whole family business. It is more than just my dad. So my sister and my mom as well, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the reality is when you're building, it's kind of like there's a lot of different hats to be worn. And on certain seasons, it's just all hands on deck. Everyone fill in where you can. Let's just make sure we're rowing in the same direction.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about content? Because I feel like you guys do a good job. But I want to know, Drew, were you comfortable being in front of the camera? Is that something we had to work on over time? Because a big part of it is the education piece.
So I had never really been in front of a camera. The fact that it was Brighton filming me made it that much easier. And the social media thing, the videos that we've done have changed dramatically over the year. So we basically been doing them for a year in February. And I think we have, I don't know, 60 or 70 videos. There's times when I travel and we were trying to do it 1 or 2 a week. And when I'm gone, it's kind of hard. And so there's some other posts in there that you don't see anybody, and that Brighton put together. But the whole process, trying to understand what would get more views and likes and all those things, is still continuing. We still haven't figured it out. But yeah, I mean, we're having a good time doing it. And the reality is this sauce any of the three sauces you can literally use on everything. And that's what we were trying to show. Hey, you can, make quesadillas with it. You can make beef and broccoli with it, stir fries, fried rice, not only just Asian food, but other things as well. And I think it's done that. So
I just think so many people, especially my generation and younger, put so much emphasis on social media being a business strategy. And I definitely think there's a time and place for it, but you nailed it earlier. If they can taste it, see it, smell it, like you're lethal, you got them. So like, how can you just physically put yourselves in front of more and more people like that too? And then from there, hopefully they tell people, and then from there, then we can blow up the online stuff.
there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. What is there any advice on the stage you're in right now? You said what, about a year out? Did you graduate in December? Or did I make that up?
No, I graduated in 2022, May.
Okay. So where we're at today in real time, is there any advice or things you have learned that you'd like to embark on anyone who might be in the beginning stages of their entrepreneurship journey?
I would just say the biggest piece of advice is just stay positive, and it's gonna be like it's basically like playing the long game. Like you're investing your time, and it takes time basically to build, and it's gonna be worth it in the end. And I think it's definitely something that not everybody, like, you should just be like thankful for the opportunity. Like if you have the opportunity to go for something and something you're passionate about, I would just say you got to go for it. And for me, just working with your family, working with people you love, doing something you love is what I would advocate for, push for. So it's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. Nothing, I don't know. It's not worth it if it's something easy.
Agree. Drew, any wisdom about entrepreneurship?
I've been an entrepreneur pretty much my whole life. And I think that's one of the things that both of my kids, my daughter's an entrepreneur as well, I saw that I created my own schedule. Yeah, I was gone a lot, but when I was home. You know what I mean? And I think that there's everybody else goes to work and does a 9 to 5 job. Well, that's not how I've lived my life. And I think both my kids really, if you want to be your own boss, become an entrepreneur, because it's that simple. Figure out something that's needed or wanted and figure it out and go for it. And there's the fact that Wazoo has an entrepreneurship major now tells you something. It's not just a fly by the seat of your pants world out there anymore. There's actually ways to go through this process and learn about it before you start.
I agree. I think that's awesome. Okay, I told you it would go fast. I do have 5 rapid fire questions. And I'll ask, and between the two of you, you can decide who wants to answer these, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll make sure to direct people to come buy some sauce. But first things first, rapid fire question number 1. What is your favorite place for a business meeting in Pullman?
I would say the office.
Love it.
Yeah.
Number
Office,
2,
yeah.
if you had $10,000 and can start a business today, what would it be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would continue because it costs money to expand the product line. I would use that
Right.
money.
Absolutely. Number 3, what is the biggest challenge of being your own business owner, especially in the dynamic of a family-owned business? What is maybe one of the biggest challenges?
These rapid fires, rapid fire with my responses. The biggest challenge, I would say, working with your family is definitely like has its pros and cons, but just like work environment and I'm very much so like work super hard and then take a little bit of time off. I feel like just like constantly pushing super consistently and then just having your own work schedule, balancing that. I'd say that's like just balancing your time.
Number 4, what did your time at WSU teach you about running a business?
It taught me to go for what you're passionate about and bet on yourself, and don't be afraid to bet on yourself.
Yeah. And then number 5, I want to hear an answer from both of you for this. If you could teach a one-day class at WSU, what would it be on?
Well, I would teach a cooking class.
A cooking class?
Cooking class. Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that is a good one.
I guess I would have to do the business plan competition class.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, where can people go to buy your product, but also keep in touch with all the stuff that you guys have going on?
Yeah, so all our social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok is at Unkle Drew'z Sauces, K and a Z. Yeah, and then we have a website, UnkleDrew'sSauces.com, and then we're also a Prime product on Amazon. If you just search ginger sauce or Unkle Drew'z Sauces on Amazon as well.
Perfect. And Hey, Cougs, this is a Cougar-owned business. Let's go out and support them, okay? That's the whole point of this thing. I thank you both so much for coming on and sharing your story and vulnerabilities and just your experience with the competition and beyond. And I just thought it was awesome today. I hope some people got some value. So thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And go Cougs.
Go Cougs.